a ton of RTX 40 series GPUs were just cancelled. Let's talk about it. Before that, this video is brought to you by AliExpress. Why pay more when you can get great products from AliExpress like this Red Dragon Fizz K617 RGB USB mini mechanical gaming keyboard, which is going for 55% off right now and is the perfect option for a budget keyboard. Not only does it look great, but it's completely customizable, allowing you to set the colors, brightness, and even animation that plays. Plus, unlike other cheap keyboards, it's mechanical, which means you'll get that satisfying spring resistance you've come to know and love. And if anything happens like a little spill, you can remove the keys and even switches to repair it yourself, or if you want, you can swap them out and build your own little custom keyboard using aftermarket keycaps. Plus, to make things even better, this keyboard will be one of many $10 or more items with free shipping during the AliExpress Choice Day sale, as long as you use the app or mobile website. So if you want to save big on great tech items and you want to support the channel, be sure to click the link in the description below. That's right, today I got two huge stories you are not going to want to miss when it comes to Nvidia, and the first one is going to be absolutely enormous. That's right, Nvidia may have just canceled a ton of RTX 40 series GPUs. So what am I talking about? Well, there's a bunch of new RTX 40 series cards that were going to be coming out. Now, according to Red Gaming Tech, where I am going to be getting a lot of this information, although I have been hearing some stuff myself, apparently there was indeed going to be an RTX 40 series refresh, and he was pretty confident, or at least his sources were, that it was going to be happening, and from what I was hearing, probably sometime early next year, or possibly even as soon as late this year, although that was probably going to be somewhat unlikely. Now, it is still a possibility that these cards could come out, and we will talk about that in just a little bit, but apparently, according to Red Gaming Tech, his sources are now claiming that the RTX 40 Super Series refresh is likely now canceled. Now, the reason as to why this is happening, according to him, is that apparently the RDNA 3 refresh, which again still could potentially be happening as well, is unlikely to be happening at this point in time. Now, if you don't know, the RDNA 3 refresh, if it still does occur, is gonna just be a slight improvement over RDNA 3 that's gonna fix a lot of the issues with those cards, namely the clock speed of the GPUs, the clock speed of the memory would also be going up, and then the power draw of the GPUs would likely be getting better as well. Now, on top of that, apparently, according to Red Gaming Tech, there was going to be a potential V-Cache variant, or at least they discussed making one, that would actually double the amount of cache on these RDNA 3 GPUs, which would be absolutely insane, and probably with the increase in clock speeds would actually allow these RDNA 3 cards to hit the performance targets that they were originally hoping to get. And maybe at that point in time, the RTX 4090 could be in for some serious trouble. But again, it's starting to sound like AMD might not go ahead and make these cards, and might be taking some of the stuff they were learning about creating the refresh and put it into RDNA 4, which apparently, according to his sources, has also spurred Nvidia to put the RTX 40 Super Series on hold, at least for now, effectively canceling a ton of RTX 40 series cards, which is definitely not great news for us, as I was speculating that this would actually bring us far better price to performance versus the original RTX 40 series. Now, I will mention again that there is still a possibility that these cards could come out, and here's why they might still happen. Now, the first reason is, well, there could be still poor sales on the RTX 40 series. Now, they're not selling horrendously, but they're definitely not selling as well as Nvidia was hoping. The second reason as to why it could still come out is the RDNA 3 refresh could still happen, which of course we have no idea at this point in time. And then finally, the last reason as to why Nvidia might still want to put out these cards is Battle Mage could come out ahead of schedule. Now, I say ahead of schedule, but apparently there's been internal delays, and that's the reason as to why we're talking about 2024 for Battle Mage. And I think originally they were hoping to get it out by the end of this year, which would be absolutely insane, but now it's starting to seem like probably closer to mid or end of 2024. And if it's end of 2024, then at that point in time, Nvidia probably doesn't have to worry, as they will be talking about their next generation of GPUs at that time, and so will AMD. However, if it does come out at the beginning of 2024, and I'm talking like the first month or two, then Nvidia might want to be a little bit concerned, because Battlemage could be a massive improvement over their Arc series of GPUs, and if that is the case, then yes, it could be challenging cards like the RTX 4080. And make sure you're subscribed if you want to hear more about Battlemage, because I do have some info I want to share with you guys that is very, very exciting, as Intel could definitely be the savior in the GPU space if Battlemage turns out to be as good as I'm hoping. But in any case, yes, if that does occur, they might want to bring out these cards. And if they bring out these cards, what are we talking about? Well, as of now, I only know about 3 potential cards, and the specs are definitely not nailed down. Some of this is from leaks, some of this is from speculation. However, if there is no 4090 Ti and they choose to scrap that for Super, then here are the 3 cards we're likely talking about. The RTX 4090 Super is the first one up, and I'm not going to go super in depth because I've talked about these before. However, just keep in mind the RTX 4090 Super will be the full version of the 8102 die. Then we could have the RTX 4080 Super, which actually could be the full die of 8103, so we'll get a slight bump in CUDA cores and potentially clock speed there as well. And then we'll have the RTX 4070 Super, which should be a cut down version of the 8103 die and a significant increase in CUDA cores over the RTX 4070 Ti. And then actually there could be an RTX 4060 Super as well, with 6,144 CUDA cores and 12 gigabytes of VRAM. And in terms of price, probably coming in at the same price of the cards they're replacing, or in some cases potentially even a little bit lower, like the RTX 4080 Super. Actually, I would expect this to come in at $999 or maybe $1,099 versus the $1,199 that the RTX 4080 launched as, because it really won't cost them too much more to create the 4080 Super, and it'll also allow them to change the narrative in terms of price to performance with the RTX 40 series. But wait a minute, there's actually one more big piece of news I want to talk about with you guys, and that's to do with the RTX 4090, as it looks like the original RTX 4090 GPU could be canceled. Oh no! Does this mean we're never getting another RTX 4090 again? Well, not necessarily. Yes, the GPU in question is probably going to be discontinued in some way, shape, or form, but according to a videocards.com article, the RTX 4090 is moving to a different GPU. Does this mean the RTX 4090 will be more powerful? Unlikely, although there is the potential for binning to be a little bit better or something like that. So maybe clock speeds will be a little bit better, but no, the 4090 isn't going to be unobtainable. No, you're not going to be having to buy an RTX 4080 for $1,500 or something insane like that. But yes, the current version of the RTX 4090 is likely not going to continue in the near future, at least according to this videocards.com article, where they state that apparently Nvidia is quietly updating the 4090 to the 8102-301 GPU, which apparently they're getting this information from a Redditor, so definitely take that with a grain of salt. I have no way of confirming whether or not this guy actually knows what he's talking about, but if it's true, then yes, they are making a slight update to the RTX 4090. Although I do think, guys, the reason why they're doing this isn't necessarily to make the 4090 higher performance or something like that. I think it's just simply they're finding ways to make these GPUs more efficiently and therefore save some money. But hey, that's just what I think. Do you think the RTX 40 Super Series is still happening, or do you think it's actually canceled? Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below, and of course, I'll see you in the next video. If you made it to the end of the video, be sure to drop a like. Every time you do so, AMD and Nvidia release new GPUs. Also, if you want to see more, check out one of these related videos. You won't be disappointed.